Yes, so back to this. Jesus is Lucifer. The Bible is a trick. Christmas is a couple days away. Santa Claus. Santa Claus. The clues, I've talked about the clues in a couple of these videos now. Most of the clues are in the Bible itself. Some of the clues are just surrounding the overall tradition. Santa Claus is a clue. I mean, you switch the last three letters around. Santa is Satan. Santa is Satan. And it's amazing to me that this is missed. It's not even missed. I think you know it. You just don't want to accept it. Again, we're being blinded by these rewards. We so desperately want a life without struggle. We so desperately want reconnection with all of our dead loved ones, which is natural. Nothing wrong with that. But we're being taken advantage of. This tradition, this Abraham's God, the traditions of Abraham's God is a trick. It's a ruse. And this just goes on and on. These things that are right in our face. The devil, according to the Abrahamic tradition, is hidden in plain sight, right in front of you. Hidden in plain sight. The wolf in sheep's clothing is Jesus. The wolf in sheep's clothing is Jesus. As I mentioned, I think in the last video, who else is known as a sheep in our modern world? A lamb. The Bible is talking about itself. I've used the expression, I think, 3 times now in 3 different videos. Mirror pointing. It's pointing you away while it's talking about itself. It makes you think that the devil is over there. It's right here. Again, you're wearing it around your neck. It's hidden in plain sight. The world is subdued. Most of the world is following some version of Abraham's story, Abraham's God. And I say most of the world. Let me be clear. I'm not 100% certain that the Abrahamites outweigh the Hindu Buddhist traditions. I believe so. I could be wrong about that. But I know for sure in the West, it's the biggest thing going, without question. Christians, Muslims, and Jews. Go next door to where you live. More than likely, you're next to a Christian, a Muslim, or a Jew. All following this tradition where the God of the tradition is offering all these elaborate rewards. Rewards. And we're blinded by that. I want to come back to life after I die. So yeah, I'm going to follow. Life without struggle? Absolutely. Sign me up before I've even read it. You better read that fine print. You better read and study and study and study. I mean, if the tradition were the Christian tradition specifically, Islam and Judaism, I'll give them a little bit of credit in that they do tend to, in my experience at least, have a more narrow scope through which you can be recognized as a part of that inner circle, those chosen people. Christianity, everybody's on board. Don't read it. Don't just come in and throw some money into the bag and you're in. We got you. You're saved. Your devil is hidden in plain sight. I mentioned in the last video the water into wine aspect. Jesus turning water into wine. That's a clue. That is a clue as bright as Satan is Santa Claus. If you read the story, I mean, it's an interesting thing. And I mentioned it again in the last video. I mentioned the clues within clues. The way that Jesus speaks to his mother in the water into wine story, it's a clue, right? What son, what respectful son calls their mother woman? in a perturbed tone, no less. If you can read and comprehend, he's kind of perturbed. He's like, what the fuck you bothering me for, woman? Who talks to their mother that way? Who talks to their mother that way? Jesus is Lucifer. And again, if the story as it goes, they're at a party, the party runs out of wine. Jesus' mother, the Holy Mother Mary, who's treated with such regard, like she was something so special, she's the person who's complaining to her magician's son about this party being out of booze. They ran out of Mad Dog 2020. Jesus, what are we going to do? How are we going to get turned up? Why are you bothering me with their shit, woman? It's right in your face. And then he turns the life-sustaining water, the most important thing that we consume other than oxygen, turns water into booze. He turns water into liquor. Think about it. Would the God of the Abrahamic tradition want you to be drunk or want you to be sober? You know what happens when we get drunk? And it's a funny thing about that, because earlier in the Bible, what book is that? It's in I think it's in Genesis, the story of Lot, right? After his wife turns to salt, right? Because God has burned Sodom and Gomorrah. Sodom and Gomorrah was burnt up because those people were immoral. And this is what the Bible does. It tells a story, and then it gives you an example of that exact story, the exact moral implications of the story told. It then gives you a story where those same deeds are being performed by God's people. If you're paying attention, you have to say, hey, wait a minute, something's wrong here. We were just told that that's wrong, right? Sodom and Gomorrah were destroyed because they were butt fucking people and having all kinds of weird interactions, I guess, right? Then it turns around and tells a story where Lot's daughters get him drunk and rape him, essentially. He doesn't know about it. That can happen, but even if you're drunk, you got some memory. But this is one of God's people, so we're gonna act like he didn't know nothing about it. His daughters get him drunk and molest their father. I mean, I've got daughters, and my daughters, we've all got issues, but I'm pretty sure civilizations are gonna just end. There ain't no way we're having sex with each other. Period. Because it's wrong. It's immoral. No animal does that, right? Where the offspring is fucking its mother. Lucifer is hidden in plain sight. The Bible is a trick. There's a story in Numbers, the book of Numbers, where after having killed a bunch of people, God's command, go kill those people, God tells the Israelites, these Israelite soldiers, kill all the men, keep the virgins for yourself. Keep the virgins for yourself. That's immoral. That's wrong. That is wrong. And as moral beings, beneath the story, we know that it's wrong. But again, because we're blinded by these shiny rewards, we'll make excuses for it, or we'll allow excuses to be made. We'll be placated by the excuses that some theologian or some historian comes up with as to why. Well, what he meant was, why the fuck he didn't say what he meant? That doesn't make any sense. And please stop being persuaded, stop being blinded by these sorts of excuses. There is excuse after excuse after excuse after excuse for things that we know is wrong. And this is how I came to this place. This is how I came to start looking, right? Because I found myself over and over again having to make excuses for shit that I know is wrong. I know that that's wrong. For God to be telling soldiers to take virgins as spoils of war, that's wrong. I know better than that. Intuitively, instinctively. I know better than that, and so do you. That's wrong. When Jesus tells you to hate your mother, hate your child, hate your life, you know that that's wrong. That's wrong. Sure enough, he says it. Or you cannot be my follower, it says. Jesus is Lucifer, the wolf in sheep's clothing, blinding you with all kinds of shiny jewels, all kinds of elaborate rewards. And so we're blinded. Integrity, the Bible also speaks about the importance of stout integrity. And like I say, there's this mirror pointing thing that goes on, right? It says some things that are really nice. It sounds so sweet, right? But also hidden within it are clues that make you, if you're being moral, you got to question it. You got to say, hey, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I'm going to kill my child? I'm going to kill you telling me I've got to kill my child in order to be worthy of salvation? I got to prove that I love you more than I love my child. I mean, we're parents, a lot of us. We're parents, we're grandparents, some of us. Would you have your child kill your grandchild to prove something to you? Of course you wouldn't. Of course you wouldn't. By no means. Let me find out that my daughter wants to kill one of my grandchildren, either of my daughters. They want to kill my grandchild because I'm trying to prove something. What the hell is wrong with you? No, is the answer. Don't do that. Don't touch a hair on their heads. That's moral. This story is a trick. And again, these elements show up far too many times. Far too many. I think this is what my 5th video. I've already listed a few. There's more. There's more and more and more. It just keeps going. The story where there's a point where the God of the Bible basically tells the Israelites to be backstabbers, right? He tells them that a lot of people aren't going to let you in. They're looking for somewhere to go. A lot of people aren't going to let you in. You're going to find some people, and then you're going to enslave those people. The very people who let you in. While everybody else is turning you away, the people who let you in, enslave them. Jesus is Lucifer. The Bible is a trick. A horrible trick. Horrible trick. And this is what makes me so upset about it. I mean, I'm emotional, really. I get emotional about this because what's being done, it's as if, imagine your grandmother, right? She's a widow. And some guy comes along, some young guy, handsome, he's got money, he's suave, and starts seducing your grandmother. And your grandmother falls in love with him. The whole family falls in love with him. He's so sweet. He comes around buying gifts. And then sometime you're on the other side of town, and you see this dude. Now, he don't know you there, but you see him. And you're watching him. And he's pimping and gang banging and talking shit to everybody, treating people like shit. He don't know that you're watching him, but you see it. This is how I feel. A situation like that might upset you. That's what I am seeing. That's what's happened here. I've seen this dude on the other side of town. Jesus is Lucifer. And this dude ain't about shit. He's seducing you with all these fancy words and praises and such. I don't know what he means at the end game, but it's not well. He's a liar. The idea that you're going to live for eternity is proof of that. Right? You can't live for eternity. You would have to be born at the beginning of time in order to have lived for an eternity. The idea that you're going to live for 999 trillion years, that's absurd. Nor does it take that much time to have a good life. Who the fuck wants to live for that long? A million, maybe a couple million years at the very most. But shit, once you start getting to a bit, what the fuck else are you going to do? Over and over again, living the same illusion, I guess. Jesus is Lucifer. The Bible is a trick.